The first thing you'll need to do is transfer your pattern onto your linen. Your pattern won't look as messy like this. This is just the one that I used for my notes. But there are a few different methods that you can use. I like to use Dressmaker's carbon paper, and you can get that at the fabric store. And what it is this blue paper, and you put it blue side down on top of your fabric. And then you just put your pattern on top of it. And then take a pencil, and you want to trace over your pattern, and you have to press very hard to get it to make an impression on the fabric. And then just take off your pattern, and then you have a faint impression of whatever it is that you're going to be embroidering. Another way to transfer your embroidery pattern is to use a water-soluble marking pencil like this one. I only like to use this when I know for sure that my design is going to be covered up completely, because this doesn't always wash out all the way. So just be careful when you're using these. You can either tape your pattern up into a window so that the light will come through and you can see through to trace, or I like to use, I got this light table, and you can just turn on the light, and then you can see through and you can trace whatever it is that you're working on. And this gives you just a little bit of a darker line. And so I like to use this on more detailed areas. But you just can see the line through and then trace. But again, only use that in areas that you know the blue lines are going to be completely covered. Another thing that I like to use for tracing my embroidery patterns are these Pilot Frixion pens, and they are erasable, but they can also disappear with heat from an iron. So again, I only use this for places that I know are going to be covered up, and I only use this lightest color gray, because the other ones don't necessarily go away completely when you iron them. So light gray, Pilot Frixion pen, and I'll put links to these products in the bottom, but I'll just go ahead and I'm gonna start tracing the unicorn a little bit. And you just kind of lightly go over it with the pen, and this actually leaves the best mark. So as long as your stitches are going to be covered, I really love using these pens. But if it's something that you're not sure, or you should think if you make a mistake somewhere and the iron isn't going to completely take away the marks, it'll look, you can still see a faint impression of them. So just again, be careful when using the Frixion pens. Embroidery floss is made up of 6 smaller strands that make one string. You want to cut off about the length of your arm up to your shoulder. And then if I say on the pattern that you're going to use 2 strands or 3 strands, you want to separate that amount from the rest of the bunch. Just like that. And then go ahead and thread that amount onto your needle. And there are several different ways to secure your embroidery floss in the back. I like to keep it simple and just tie a double knot on the end of my string.